Shortly after purchasing a Buick Rendezvous, weeks later, and weeks after studying The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, my Buick would explode, setting me and my children on fire. And while trying to get them out of even flow car seats that were never supposed to be on the shelves, I would end up losing my children and waking up to more skin graft surgeries, them scraping the skin, which is worse than being set on fire. Scraping the skin, filleting me like a fish from my back and my bum, and stapling it onto my arms and legs after scraping the bottom layers of skin off. I study because it's power, knowledge is power, the involution and evolution, the cause and effect, subjective and objective. And I remember speaking to their father saying, look at this book, death isn't real. And weeks later, we would end up exploding. Sharing these signs, the objective symbols that resonate subjectively, so we can later on say, oh, that makes sense. This is why this card popped out today, or this is why we can look for symbols and them resonate with the objective physical world, the macrocosm and the microcosm, cause and effect, the intangible and the tangible physical result. So part of Ernest Holmes' book, they have a 365 version. And for each day, today the 8th, looking for our signs, says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Admiralty Maritime Law, lost at sea, subject to interpretation. Fear is the great enemy of man. It is impossible for a person to do his best if he is filled with anxiety. Unless we live without fear today, we will dread tomorrow. Those who live in the dread of tomorrow generally harbor memories of things that were unpleasant in their previous experience and expect that more of this unpleasantness will transpire in the future. My children's father used to say he was surrounded by death and I needed to leave. The present day in which they live is robbed of all peace and joy. This so disturbs the mind that restful sleep is impossible. Such people seldom rise in the morning filled with buoyant hope, joyful anticipation, and the natural enthusiasm and zest for living that we all need if we are going to get the most of life. Yesterday is forever past. We cannot relieve it. No matter how we may regret what happened yesterday, it is impossible actually to live it over again. But too often, in imagination, we do live it over and over again, and so doing bring all the misery of yesterday into today. Learn to